The Galactic Goofmobile drifted into the Phantom Nebula, a swirling mass of glowing blue mist, distant lightning flashes, and the eerie sound of whistling. Okay, why does space have whistling? Because we're in the haunted part of the galaxy. Groans. Boudreaux, on the other hand, was vibrating with excitement. Why are we here again? Because legend says this nebula is home to ghostly space cowboys who ride invisible space horses. I hate how much sense that makes. The Mothman said they might have a lost cosmic treasure map. Of course he did. Then, a ghostly voice echoed through the ship. Who trespasses in the Phantom Nebula? Suddenly the mist outside the ship swirled into the shapes of ghostly figures. Oh, whoa! No. The figures took form, glowing cowboy ghosts floating in space, wearing tattered dusters, wide-brimmed hats, and spectral spurs that jingled with each movement. At the front of the group was a tall figure with a glowing spectral lasso and piercing blue eyes. His voice was deep, old, and slightly annoyed. I am Sheriff Dustbane, keeper of the Phantom Nebula. You best state your business or we'll be sending you straight to the afterlife. Bastian huffed. Boudreaux wagged his tail furiously. Howdy, we're just friendly space travelers looking for an old cosmic treasure map. Any chance you know where it is? A treasure map, you say? The ghostly cowboys all muttered amongst themselves. This is either going really well or really badly. All right, we'll make you a deal. I love deals. There's a gang of outlaw ghosts causing trouble in our nebula, the Shadow Spurs. If you'll help us round them up, we'll give you the treasure map. Yeah, of course there are outlaw ghosts. Saddle up, boys. We're about to bust some ghost bandits. With the Galactic Goofmobile modified into space hover horse mode, the gang rode through the misty nebula alongside the Phantom Cowboys. Bastien looked very displeased in his tiny space saddle. Boudreaux loved every second of it. The Shadow Spurs weren't hard to find. They were whooping and hollering, riding ghostly meteor bulls and robbing space trains that didn't even exist anymore.
There they are! Yeehaw, charge!
What followed was absolute chaos. Leah and Hudson lassoed rogue ghost bandits. Bastien knocked an outlaw off his spectral horse with one dramatic headbutt. Boudreaux chased a ghost thief in circles until he tripped over his own spurs. Sheriff Dustbane summoned a giant glowing tumbleweed to trap the last few outlaws. Mighty fine work, travelers. A deal's a deal. Pleasure doing business with y'all. Can we please leave the haunted nebula now? Sure, but first, hey Mothman, we got the map. What's next? X marks the spot, on the lost planet of Celestaron. A lost planet? Bastien sighed. Boudreaux barked. Oh no, here we go again. The Galactic Goofmobile encountered a strange asteroid field, each rock glowing with an eerie light. Leah took the controls, navigating through the treacherous terrain. As Leah expertly maneuvered the Galactic Goofmobile through the glowing asteroid field, Hudson noticed something odd on the radar. His eyes widened and he leaned closer to the screen, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. "Leah, there's something following us," he said, his voice tinged with concern. Leah glanced over her shoulder, her brow furrowing as she saw the same strange blip on the radar. It wasn't just an ordinary asteroid. It was moving too deliberately, too purposefully. "Hold on tight," Leah warned, gripping the controls even tighter as she tried to outmaneuver whatever was on their tail. The tension in the Goofmobile was palpable, the hum of the engines the only sound as they raced through the glowing rocks, trying to shake their mysterious pursuer. Bastien growled, his eyes fixed on the radar screen. "It's getting closer," he muttered, his voice a low rumble of apprehension. Leah's fingers danced over the controls, sweat beading on her forehead as she pushed the Goofmobile to its limits. "We can't keep this up forever," she said, glancing at Hudson for reassurance. He nodded, his jaw set in determination. "We need to find out what it is and why it's following us." Suddenly, a bright flash of light illuminated the cockpit, and the mysterious pursuer came into view. It was a sleek, shadowy ship, unlike anything they'd ever seen. Its dark hull shimmered with an eerie glow, and it moved with an almost predatory grace. "We've got company," Hudson whispered, his voice barely audible over the hum of the engines. Leah's eyes narrowed as she prepared for whatever was about to come next. The crew braced themselves, knowing that this encounter could change everything. The tension in the air was electric. Each second stretching into what felt like an eternity. They were on the cusp of discovery, and the unknown lay just beyond the next maneuver. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed over the Galactic Goofmobile. The crew's eyes widened in unison as the dark form eclipsed the stars.
What is that?
Boudreaux barked, his tail wagging nervously. Leah's fingers tightened around the controls, her knuckles turning white. Bastian's growl deepened, the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. The shadow seemed to grow larger, more ominous. Hudson's eyes darted around the cockpit, searching for any sign of what they were up against.
It's gigantic,
he stammered, his voice filled with awe and fear. The colossal shape began to take form, revealing a massive alien vessel, unlike anything they had ever encountered. Leah's voice trembled as she spoke. "Brace yourselves, everyone. This could get rough." The tension in the air was palpable, every second stretching into an eternity. The crew of the Galactic Goofmobile knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. As the alien vessel's lights flickered on, casting an eerie glow over the Goofmobile, the crew prepared for the unknown. They were on the brink of a new discovery, one that could change their journey forever. The shadow revealed itself to be a colossal space creature, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The sheer size and presence of the creature were unlike anything the crew had ever witnessed. Its scales shimmered in the darkness, reflecting the distant stars. Boudreaux's tail stopped wagging, his ears flattening against his head as he whimpered softly. Bastian's growl turned into a low, menacing rumble, his eyes never leaving the creature. Leah's voice cut through the tense silence, filled with urgency and fear.
"We need to get out of here, now!"
she shouted, her fingers flying over the control panel. Hudson's hands trembled as he assisted Leah, his eyes wide with terror. The creature's eyes seemed to pierce through the Goofmobile, studying them with an almost intelligent curiosity. The crew felt the weight of the creature's presence pressing down on them, their breaths coming in short, panicked gasps. Leah's hands were steady despite the chaos around her, her determination shining through.
"Hold on tight!"
she commanded, her voice resolute. The Galactic Goofmobile's engines roared to life, the ship shuddering as it prepared to make a desperate escape. With a final bone-chilling roar from the creature, the Goofmobile shot forward, leaving the colossal space beast behind. The crew's hearts pounded in their chests as they sped away, the creature's glowing eyes fading into the distance. They had narrowly escaped, but the encounter left a lasting impression on each of them. The galaxy was full of wonders and dangers, and they knew their journey was far from over. As the tension began to ease, Leah glanced back at her crew, her eyes meeting theirs. They shared a silent understanding, a bond forged in the face of the unknown. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, ready for the next adventure. Leah pushed the controls to their limit, the Galactic Goofmobile speeding away from the creature.
"Hold on tight!"
she yelled. The ship lurched forward, but just as they thought they were clear, an immense gravitational pull began to tug at the Goofmobile.
"What's happening now?"
Hudson's voice trembled, his eyes darting to the control panel.
"It's a cosmic vortex!"
Leah shouted back, her fingers frantically tapping on the controls. "It's pulling us in!" The crew felt the ship being dragged backward, the stars outside the window blurring into streaks of light. Boudreaux whimpered, his tail tucked between his legs, while Bastian's growl deepened, his eyes narrowing at the swirling mass of energy forming behind them. "We need more power." Leah's voice was strained with urgency. "Hudson, divert all auxiliary power to the engines." Hudson's hands moved swiftly, rerouting power. The Goofmobile's engines roared louder, straining against the vortex's pull. The ship shuddered violently, the crew gripping their seats tightly. Come on, Leah muttered under her breath, her eyes fixed on the rapidly approaching vortex. With a final desperate surge, the Goofmobile broke free from the vortex's grasp, rocketing forward into the safety of open space. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief, their hearts still pounding from the close call. Leah glanced at her crew, her expression a mix of exhaustion and resolve. "That was too close," she said, her voice steadying. "But we made it." Bastian and Boudreaux exchanged a look, their bond strengthened by the ordeal. The galaxy had thrown another challenge their way, but they had faced it together and emerged victorious. As the Goofmobile continued its journey, the crew prepared themselves for whatever lay ahead. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, but they were ready for the next adventure, no matter what it might be. The creature gave chase, its massive form closing in on the ship.
It's not giving up!
Hudson exclaimed. Leah's eyes darted to the rearview screen, the colossal shadow of the creature looming ever closer.
We need to shake it off!
She shouted, her hands gripping the controls with white-knuckled intensity. The Galactic Goofmobile swerved and dipped through the star-studded expanse, but the creature was relentless, its haunting wail echoing through the void. Bastion's growls grew fiercer, while Boudreaux barked in frantic bursts.
Hang on, everyone!
Leah commanded, her voice a mix of fear and determination. Hudson's fingers danced over the control panel, activating evasive maneuvers. The ship twisted and turned, executing barrel rolls and sharp dives, but the creature matched their every move with terrifying precision. It's like it knows our every move, Hudson shouted, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. Leah's mind raced, searching for a way to outsmart their pursuer.
Prepare the decoy drones,
she ordered. Hudson quickly initiated the sequence, and a fleet of holographic decoys emerged from the ship's hull, scattering in all directions. The creature hesitated for a moment, its attention divided among the multiple targets.
Now's our chance!
Leah yelled, pushing the engines to maximum thrust. The Goofmobile surged forward, leaving the creature tangled in a web of decoys. The stars blurred into streaks of light as the ship accelerated, putting distance between them and the monstrous entity. The crew breathed a collective sigh of relief as the creature faded into the distance. Leah glanced at Hudson, her expression a mix of triumph and exhaustion. "Good work, everyone. We outsmarted it," she said, her voice steadying. Bastion and Boudreaux exchanged a look of mutual respect, their bond further strengthened by the harrowing escape. As the Galactic Goofmobile cruised through the tranquil expanse of space, the crew prepared themselves for whatever lay ahead. They had faced the relentless pursuit of a cosmic predator and emerged unscathed. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, but they were ready for the next adventure, no matter what it might be. Just when the crew thought they had outmaneuvered the colossal creature, it reappeared on their radar, closing in faster than ever. Leah's eyes widened in disbelief. "It's back, and it's angrier!" Bastion's growls filled the cockpit. "We can't keep running forever. Time to fight back!" He activated the ship's defense systems, his claws tapping furiously at the control panel. "Take that!" he growled, firing a barrage of energy blasts at the creature. The energy blast streaked through the void, striking the creature's massive form. It let out a bone-chilling screech, but it didn't stop. Instead, it seemed to absorb the energy, growing even more menacing. Hudson's face paled. "It's feeding off our attacks. We need a new plan!" Leah's mind raced. "Divert all power to the shields and prepare for evasive maneuvers. We need to get out of its range." Bastion nodded, his eyes narrowing with determination. "Hold on tight, everyone. This is going to be rough." The Galactic Goofmobile's engines roared as Leah pushed them to their limits. The ship sped through the stars, weaving and dodging in a desperate attempt to escape the relentless predator. Suddenly, Boudreaux's bark echoed through the cockpit. Leah glanced at the screen and saw a massive asteroid field up ahead. "That's it! If we can't outrun it, we'll lose it in the asteroid field." The crew held their breath as the Goofmobile plunged into the asteroid field, dodging massive rocks and debris. The creature followed, but its massive size made it clumsy in the tight spaces. With a final desperate maneuver, Leah guided the ship through a narrow gap between two colossal asteroids. The creature, unable to follow, crashed into the rocks, its screech fading into the void. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief. Leah turned to Bastion, her eyes shining with gratitude. "We did it! We outsmarted it!" Bastion nodded, a rare smile tugging at his lips. "Good work, everyone. Now let's get out of here." As the Galactic Goofmobile cruised away from the asteroid field, the crew prepared themselves for whatever lay ahead. They had faced the relentless pursuit of a cosmic predator and emerged victorious. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, but they were ready for the next adventure, no matter what it might be. The creature roared in pain, its form flickering as the energy blasts hit. "It's working!" Boudreaux cheered, his tail wagging furiously, but Leah's eyes remained focused, scanning the control panels. "Not for long. We need to disable it completely." Bastion's claws danced over the controls, initiating a sequence that diverted all remaining power to the main cannons. "This is our last shot," he growled, his voice filled with resolve. The Galactic Goofmobile's cannons charged, glowing with a blinding intensity. The crew braced themselves as Bastion unleashed the full power of their ship in one final desperate attack. The energy beams pierced through the void, striking the creature's core. It let out a deafening screech, its form convulsing and flickering more violently. For a moment time seemed to stand still, then with a final agonized roar, the colossal creature exploded into a shower of spectral fragments, dissipating into the cosmos. Hudson let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. We did it! Leah slumped back in her seat, a weary but triumphant smile spreading across her face. We did! Now let's get out of here before anything else decides to show up. The Galactic Goofmobile, battered but victorious, turned away from the debris of their vanquished foe. The stars stretched out before them, filled with endless possibilities and unknown dangers. As the crew set their course for the next destination, they knew one thing for certain: they had faced the impossible and emerged stronger together. And with that, the Galactic Goofmobile blasted off toward the next adventure. Leah maneuvered the ship through a narrow gap between two asteroids, the creature struggling to follow. "We're almost out of here," she said. Bastion's eyes were fixed on the radar, his claws gripping the controls tightly. "Just a little further," he muttered, the tension in his voice palpable. Boudreaux barked excitedly, his tail wagging as he sensed their impending escape. The Galactic Goofmobile twisted and turned, dodging the asteroids with precision. The colossal space creature roared in frustration, its enormous form unable to match the ship's agility. Leah's hands moved swiftly, guiding them through the treacherous field. "Hold on, everyone!" she warned, her focus unwavering. As they neared the edge of the asteroid field, the creature made one last desperate lunge, its massive jaws snapping just inches away from the ship's hull. "Now, Bastion!" Leah shouted. Bastion slammed a button, and the ship's engines roared to life, propelling them forward with a burst of speed. The Galactic Goofmobile shot out of the asteroid field, leaving the creature behind. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief as they watched the beast recede into the distance. "We did it," Leah said, her voice filled with a mix of exhaustion and triumph. "We're safe!" Bastion leaned back in his seat, a rare smile spreading across his face. "Good job, everyone," he said. Boudreaux barked in agreement, his tail wagging furiously. The stars stretched out before them once more, a reminder of the endless adventures that awaited. And with that, the Galactic Goofmobile blasted off toward the next adventure. The Galactic Goofmobile burst out of the asteroid field, leaving the colossal space creature behind. "We made it!" Hudson sighed in relief, his shoulders visibly relaxing. The tension that had gripped the crew moments ago began to fade, replaced by a sense of exhilaration and accomplishment. Leah glanced back at the shrinking asteroid field, her eyes reflecting the thrill of their narrow escape. "That was too close," she said, her voice tinged with both fear and excitement. Bastion nodded in agreement, his claws slowly releasing their tight grip on the controls. "But we did it together," he added, a rare note of camaraderie in his voice. Boudreaux barked joyfully, his tail wagging with unrestrained glee. The Galactic Goofmobile soared through the starry expanse, the vastness of space stretching out before them. They had faced danger and come out victorious, and now the promise of new adventures beckoned. As the stars shimmered around them, the crew took a moment to savor their triumph, knowing that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. And with that, the Galactic Goofmobile blasted off toward the next adventure. Leah set a course for the next destination, her fingers dancing over the navigation console with practiced ease. The crew took a collective breath, the adrenaline of their narrow escape still coursing through their veins. Bastion, still coming down from the rush, muttered, "That was too close." His words hung in the air, a reminder of the peril they had just survived. But with the coordinates locked in and the stars aligning on their screen, a sense of calm began to settle over the team. The Galactic Goofmobile hummed with renewed energy, ready to face whatever cosmic challenges lay ahead. As they sailed onward through the galaxy, the crew found solace in the knowledge that they had each other's backs, no matter how close the call. As the Galactic Goofmobile cruised through the vast expanse of space, the crew began to relax, the tension of their recent close call gradually fading. Just as the calm began to settle in, a mysterious signal crackled through the comms, breaking the silence. "This is Captain Starfire requesting assistance," a voice echoed, filled with urgency and desperation. The crew exchanged puzzled glances. Their curiosity piqued and their sense of duty awakened. Who was Captain Starfire, and what kind of trouble could require their aid in this infinite galaxy? Bastion leaned forward, his eyes narrowing with determination. Looks like we've got another mission, team. Let's find out what's going on. The Galactic Goofmobile's engines hummed louder as if responding to the call for help, ready to dive into yet another cosmic adventure. With a renewed sense of purpose, the crew prepared themselves for what lay ahead, knowing that the galaxy always held more surprises in store. The stars outside the viewport seemed to twinkle with anticipation, as if even the cosmos itself was eager to see what would happen next. Leah responded to the signal. "This is Leah of the Galactic Goofmobile. What seems to be the problem, Captain?" There was a brief pause, filled only by the crackling static of the comms. Then the voice of Captain Starfire returned, even more urgent than before. "We're stranded near the Eventide Nebula. Our ship's systems are failing, and something strange is happening out here. We need immediate assistance." Bastion's brow furrowed as he glanced at Leah. The Eventide Nebula, that's a treacherous part of space. We need to be prepared for anything. Boudreaux's tail wagged with excitement, sensing another thrilling escapade on the horizon. "Let's get to it. Adventure awaits." Leah nodded, her fingers dancing over the control panel. "Hang tight, Captain Starfire. We're on our way. Galactic Goofmobile, engage hyperdrive." With a sudden jolt, the ship's engines roared to life, propelling them towards the unknown dangers that awaited near the Eventide Nebula. The crew braced themselves, knowing that this rescue mission could be their most perilous yet. As the stars streaked past the viewport in a blur of light, the sense of urgency and anticipation grew. What strange phenomena awaited them? And could they reach Captain Starfire in time? The answers lay ahead in the vast, uncharted reaches of space. As the Galactic Goofmobile sped through the vast expanse of space, the crew prepared for the unknown challenges that lay ahead. The comms crackled again, and Captain Starfire's voice cut through the static. "Our ship is stranded on a nearby planet. We need help with repairs." Leah's eyes widened. "A planet in the Eventide Nebula? This just got a lot more complicated." Bastion leaned forward, studying the star chart. "If they're on a planet, we need to be ready for anything. Atmospheric entry, unknown terrain, possibly hostile environments." Boudreaux barked excitedly, his tail wagging furiously. "Hostile environments? Sounds like fun." Leah's fingers danced over the controls, adjusting their course. "Captain Starfire, we're closing in on your location. Sit tight, we're almost there." The sense of urgency was palpable as the Galactic Goofmobile navigated the treacherous space near the Eventide Nebula. The crew knew that time was of the essence, and every second counted. As they approached the planet, the ship's sensors began to pick up strange readings, unusual energy signatures, fluctuating magnetic fields, and an eerie silence that seemed to permeate the very fabric of space. Bastion's voice was steady, but there was an edge of concern. "Everyone, prepare for landing. This is going to be a rough one." With a final adjustment, Leah initiated the landing sequence. The Galactic Goofmobile descended towards the planet, its engines roaring as it broke through the atmosphere. The crew braced themselves for whatever awaited them below. What strange phenomena would they encounter on this mysterious planet? Could they repair Captain Starfire's ship and escape the dangers of the Eventide Nebula? The answers lay just ahead, in the uncharted reaches of space. The adventure continued. As Leah set a course for the stranded ship, the crew braced themselves for the descent. The Galactic Goofmobile pierced through the planet's atmosphere, turbulence shaking the vessel. Leah's hands moved deftly over the controls, her voice calm and determined. "Let's go help them out," she said, her eyes focused on the rapidly approaching surface. The ship's sensors continued to pick up strange readings. Unusual energy signatures and fluctuating magnetic fields intensified. Bastion's eyes narrowed as he scanned the data. "This planet is unlike any we've encountered before. Stay sharp, everyone!" Boudreaux, ever the optimist, barked excitedly, his tail wagging. "Hostile environments? Sounds like fun!" His enthusiasm was contagious, bringing a slight smile to Leah's face despite the tension. As they neared the landing site, the eerie silence of the planet seemed to envelop the ship. The Galactic Goofmobile's engines roared, fighting against the planet's gravity. The crew held their breath as Leah expertly navigated the ship to a smooth landing. The hatch opened with a hiss, revealing the strange and alien landscape outside. "All right, team," Leah said, stepping out first. "Let's find Captain Starfire and get to work." With determination in their hearts and the unknown stretching out before them, the crew of the Galactic Goofmobile set off on their next daring adventure. The Galactic Goofmobile landed on the planet, the crew stepping out to meet Captain Starfire.
Thank you for coming.
The captain said. His voice was tinged with relief, but his eyes betrayed a deeper concern. The landscape around them was both awe-inspiring and unsettling. Towering crystalline structures glowed with an ethereal light, casting long, eerie shadows. Leah stepped forward, her gaze meeting the captain's. "What's the situation, Captain Starfire?" Before the captain could respond, a strange, otherworldly sound echoed through the air. The crew instinctively reached for their weapons, eyes scanning the horizon. The ground beneath their feet began to tremble, and the crystalline structures vibrated with an ominous hum. Captain Starfire raised a hand to calm them. "It's the planet, it's alive, and it's not happy we're here." Bastion's eyes widened. "Alive? What do you mean?" "There's no time to explain," the captain replied urgently. "We have to move, now!" With a sense of urgency, the crew followed Captain Starfire deeper into the alien terrain. The ground continued to quake, and the mysterious energy signatures grew stronger. As they ventured further, the true nature of their mission began to unfold, revealing dangers and mysteries beyond their wildest imaginations. The Galactic Goofmobile's crew was now on a race against time, navigating an unpredictable and hostile environment. Their determination and teamwork would be tested like never before as they faced challenges that could change the fate of their universe. Hudson and Bastion got to work on the repairs, their hands moving swiftly and precisely. Sparks flew as they welded and rewired the damaged parts of the Galactic Goofmobile. Leah and Boudreaux stood guard, their eyes scanning the eerie, crystalline landscape for any signs of danger. "We should be done soon," Hudson said, his voice filled with a mix of concentration and determination. Bastion nodded, his face set in a grim expression. The ground beneath them continued to tremble, and the ominous hum of the planet grew louder. Leah's hand hovered over her weapon, ready to defend the crew at a moment's notice. Boudreaux's ears perked up, sensing the tension in the air. Time was running out, and the crew knew they had to complete the repairs quickly if they wanted to escape the planet's wrath. As the final connections were made, the Galactic Goofmobile roared back to life. The crew quickly boarded the ship, their hearts pounding with a mix of relief and adrenaline. With the repairs complete, they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, determined to overcome the challenges and mysteries of the universe. As they worked, strange creatures began to emerge from the shadows. Their forms were indistinct, shifting and wavering as if made of smoke and starlight. Boudreaux's growl cut through the tense silence. "We've got company." Leah's eyes widened as she spotted the first creature, its glowing eyes fixed on the crew. "Stay sharp," she whispered, her hand tightening around her weapon. The ground trembled more violently, and the hum of the planet turned into an ominous roar. Hudson and Bastion worked faster, their movements a blur of efficiency and desperation. Sparks flew in all directions, illuminating the encroaching forms of the shadowy creatures. "Almost there," Hudson muttered, sweat dripping down his brow. The creatures drew closer, their otherworldly whispers filling the air. Boudreaux barked, his stance protective and fierce. Leah fired a warning shot, the bright flash momentarily pushing the creatures back. "Hurry!" she urged, her voice strained with urgency. With a final triumphant spark, the last connection was made. The Galactic Goofmobile roared to life, its engines thrumming with power. The crew scrambled aboard, hearts pounding as the shadowy creatures surged forward. "Go, go, go!" Bastion shouted, his voice barely audible over the cacophony of the planet's wrath and the creature's eerie whispers. The ship lifted off, leaving the shimmering, crystalline landscape and its spectral inhabitants behind. As they ascended into the safety of space, the crew took a collective breath, their relief palpable. They had faced the unknown and emerged victorious, ready for whatever lay ahead in the vast expanse of the universe. Leah and Boudreaux stood guard at the ship's entrance, their eyes scanning the encroaching shadows. The creatures, with their forms made of smoke and starlight, continued to advance, their whispers growing louder and more menacing. Leah's weapon discharged bright warning shots that barely held the creatures at bay. "We need to hurry!" Leah shouted, her voice tinged with desperation and determination. Boudreaux growled, his stance protective and fierce, lunging at any creature that dared get too close. The ground shook violently beneath them, the planet's ominous roar growing, deafening. Inside the ship, Hudson and Bastien worked with frantic precision, their hands moving in a blur of efficiency. Sparks flew, illuminating the dark, encroaching forms. Leah fired another round, the flash giving them a momentary reprieve. "Hold them off, Boudreaux!" she yelled, her heart pounding in her chest. With a final triumphant spark, the last connection was made. The Galactic Goofmobile's engines roared to life, thrumming with newfound power. Leah and Boudreaux scrambled aboard, slamming the hatch shut just as the shadowy creatures reached them. "Go, go, go!" Bastien's voice echoed through the ship, barely audible over the cacophony outside. The ship lifted off, leaving the shimmering, crystalline landscape and its spectral inhabitants behind. As they ascended into the safety of space, the crew took a collective breath, their relief palpable. They had faced the unknown and emerged victorious, ready for whatever lay ahead in the vast expanse of the universe. Hudson and Bastien finished the repairs just in time. "Let's get out of here," Hudson said, as they all boarded the ship. Leah, still panting from the intense defense, collapsed into her seat, her eyes still scanning the readouts for any signs of danger. Boudreaux, ever vigilant, took his position beside her, his ears perked up and alert. The engines roared and the ship shuddered as it lifted off the ground, leaving the ghostly landscape behind. As the stars blurred into streaks of light, the crew shared a moment of silent triumph. They had faced the unknown and emerged victorious, ready for whatever lay ahead in the vast expanse of the universe. As the Galactic Goofmobile took off, leaving the planet behind, a transmission crackled through the comms. Captain Starfire's voice came through, filled with gratitude and relief. "Thanks for the help," she said, her tone carrying the weight of their shared experience. The crew exchanged nods of acknowledgement, knowing they had made a difference. The stars outside shimmered with newfound brilliance, a reminder of the endless possibilities that awaited them. With the planet now a distant memory, they set their sights on the next great adventure. Leah smiled. "Anytime, Captain. Safe travels." The crew settled in for the journey ahead, ready for whatever came next. As the Galactic Goofmobile sailed through the cosmos, every member of the crew felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced the unknown and emerged stronger. The stars outside weren't just distant lights anymore, they were beacons of hope, guiding them towards new horizons. With hearts full of determination and eyes set on the infinite expanse, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. With a burst of cosmic speed, the Galactic Goofmobile blasted off towards the next adventure.